So now you know how to keep your batches clean and how to measure first pass yield without getting tangled in retries. But sometimes the real challenge comes after the batch returns, when a review goes inconsistent and you need to split it, or when you want a second opinion from an instance that has no memory of writing the original. That's exactly what we tackle next: multi-pass and independent review. By the end of this module, you can split a review that has gone inconsistent and review with an instance that has no memory of writing it. Here is how this module builds up. Multi-pass review means breaking a large review into separate, focused passes. Instead of one pass over everything, you run per file passes that look only at local issues, bugs, style, logic within a single file. Then you run an integration pass that checks how data flows across files, whether contracts are consistent, and whether patterns are applied uniformly. This is not simply running the same review multiple times, each pass has a distinct goal. The distinction people get wrong is thinking that a bigger context window or a more powerful model can replace this structure. It cannot, because the problem is attention, not capacity. Without multi-pass review, a single pass over a large pull request suffers from attention dilution. The model's focus thins out as it tries to hold more and more code in view. In production, this means some files get thorough feedback while others are barely glanced at. Worse, the model can contradict itself, flagging a problematic pattern in one file and then approving the exact same pattern in another file because it has lost track. Obvious bugs get missed entirely. The cost is a review that developers cannot trust. They either waste time on false positives or ship real defects because the review is inconsistent. Take the 14-file pull request from the drill. Instead of one pass, you run 14 separate per file passes. Each pass looks at a single file for local issues, bugs, style, logic, without being distracted by the other 13 files. Then you run one integration pass that examines how data moves between files, whether API contracts match, and whether patterns are applied consistently. The alternative of using a model with a bigger context window loses because it still forces one pass to spread its attention across all 14 files. The dilution remains. Forcing developers to split their PRs is also wrong. It pushes the burden onto people instead of fixing the system. The other cases in the document follow the same pattern: split by natural boundaries, then integrate. The durable rule is, when a review covers more than a handful of files, split it into per-file local passes and a separate integration pass. This is true regardless of the model or context window size, because attention dilution is a fundamental limitation of single-pass review. Never use majority voting to increase confidence in a review. It is a precision/recall trade that drops real findings. The reason is that a bug caught only once across 3 runs is still a real bug. Requiring consensus suppresses it. This rule holds outside any exam. In production systems, you want your review architecture to surface all real issues, not just the ones that happen to be caught multiple times. On the exam, the most common distractor is moving to a model with a larger context window. It sounds reasonable because you are giving the model more room, but it confuses capacity with attention quality. The dilution still happens. The trap is majority voting. It sounds like rigor, but the exam treats it as a precision/recall trade made in the wrong direction. Requiring 2 of 3 runs to agree drops findings that were caught once and were real. Expect a scenario question where a review shows inconsistent depth, missed bugs, and self-contradiction all at once. That is your cue to name attention dilution and design the split. An independent review instance is a fresh Claude session that reviews output code, a document, a plan, without any memory of how it was generated. It receives the output and the original requirements, but not the generation transcript. This is not the same as asking the same session to review its own work, or turning on extended thinking. Those approaches leave the original reasoning in context, so the model defends its choices instead of finding flaws. The distinction that catches people is believing that a more thorough prompt in the same session can substitute for a truly independent review. Without an independent review instance, your pipeline has a blind spot. The same session that generated code will defend it, missing bugs that a fresh pair of eyes would catch. In production, this means flawed migration scripts, insecure configurations, or broken logic ship because the review step is a rubber stamp. The cost is not just the bug itself, it is the false confidence that a review happened. You thought you had a safety net, but the net had a hole shaped exactly like the model's own reasoning. This is the failure that independent review prevents. Let's work the drill. Your pipeline generates a migration script in session A. Then you ask session A to review it carefully for bugs. It finds almost nothing. Why? Because session A holds the reasoning that produced every line. Each decision already has a justification and context, so the model defends rather than interrogates. A colleague suggests turning on extended thinking. That does not fix it, the original reasoning is still there. The correct fix is a second instance, session B, that receives the code and the requirements but not the generation transcript. Without the biasing context, session B can spot bugs session A missed. The document also lists self-reported confidence as useful for routing review attention, but only once calibrated against a labeled validation set. The other cases are on the page. The durable rule is this: never review output in the same session that generated it. The model will defend its own decisions because the reasoning is still in context. Instead, route the review to a fresh instance that receives only the output and the original requirements. Reject extended thinking or be critical prompts as substitutes, they do not remove the bias in context. Self-reported confidence has one valid use: routing review attention. But even that is only safe after you have calibrated it against a labeled validation set. Without calibration, the confidence numbers are just another form of self-assessment, subject to the same bias. This is exam craft. The same structural insight reviewer isolation appears in both domain 3 and domain 4. The stem wording tells you which domain the item is scored in, but the correct answer is the same shape: use an independent instance. The distractor that catches people is enabling extended thinking or adding be critical of your own work to the same session. Those options look like they add rigor, but they leave the biasing context in place. When you see a question about review quality, check whether the review happens in the same session. If it does, the fix is always a fresh instance. You can now split a review that has gone inconsistent, and review with an instance that has no memory of writing it. Remember, majority voting hurts recall here, and reviewer isolation shows up in more than one domain.